Ladies and gentlemen, Tati Avanti, and welcome to a news update. Today we're going to be going through in detail everything that we can expect to see from Star Citizen this year, starting from March right to the end of the year. Star Citizen are trying to keep to a schedule where they release it every quarter, so that's every 3 months. Just before we kick off, I would like to say happy birthday to Dandry Barnard. I hope I've said that right. It was his birthday on the 27th. His girlfriend contacted me highlighting that he's had a few tough months, so hopefully this brings a little bit of a smile to his face. So let's get started with what we can expect in the first patch. Now in 3.1 the main focus is performance, but this doesn't mean that it's not going to bring some new features and also some new assets into the game. Now starting off with the character aspect, we see the first draft of the character customization. Now this is going to be quite a smaller version, i.e. it's just going to be facial customization. They're also going to improve the ability to actually see through the helmet glasses as well, so you can identify faces better. On the topic of helmets, we will see some new helmets introduced as well in 3.1. We're going to see an array of tech improvements that should enhance the landing locations. On the gameplay side, we're going to see some balance and some tuning done to the IFCS. This is going to be an ongoing task with all the ships as we progress through the game and more ships are introduced. The Mobi-Glass will be getting some small updates and tweaks and some bug fixes. We're going to see a ship weapon balancement pass as well, a update to the ship damage state and also the explosions as well. This will allow for higher fidelity explosion and better damage shaders and physics as well. We're going to be seeing some updates to the AI as well. This means that they should hopefully react better and respond better in combat. On the ship side, we're going to be seeing the Aegis Reclaimer, the Anvil Terrapin, the Misk Razor and the Cyclone as well. And on the weapons and items, we're going to see the Preacher Distortion Gun as well, and also the R97 shotgun. Now everything in 3.1 is due in the Q1 of 2018, which is in March. Anything that is not completed by that time will get pushed over to 3.2 and so on. So what can we expect from 3.2? Now in 3.2 we're going to see a transition from the Legacy Marine Armor, same with the Outlaw as well. We also see a redesign of the Odyssey flight suit as well. There'll be some other clothing, base clothing added in as well. Now on the gameplay side, we're going to be seeing some pretty cool features that I should imagine most of us out there could definitely do with right now. One of them being a distress call. This would allow players to call for help. This would create a marker that could be viewed by other players and travel to. So that makes it much easier when you're trying to communicate to someone that you know when you're on a planet and you're not by a station or outpost. There also will be a service beacon for escort, self-explanatory on that one. Put the beacon down and it will request for escort. There'll be a service beacon for refueling, a service beacon for repair. This will be a welcome feature because this will create more gameplay and also help you out when you get stuck in a difficult situation. Some other features that we will be seeing as well, which will be mining, first starting with the Prospector. This will allow players to scan areas to identify potential mining deposits. The second part would be mining extraction. This will allow players to dig and extract the minerals from the planet and the asteroid. So what this is offering is both parts, the scanning capability and obviously the mining. Makes sense really, because there's no point bringing in mining if you don't know what you're mining for, so obviously scanning has to be there as well. And the final one on the mining will clearly be selling the product that you've actually mined as well. The next mechanic that will be introduced into 3.2 will be Salvage Scanning. Much the same again, it will give you the ability to scan and identify pieces of Idris that could potentially be salvaged, and I've no doubt that this will spread out into other ships later on. Then we have Salvage Extraction. It's quite clearly what that is, obviously extracting the materials. Processing is the next one, so the ability to process what you salvaged. And then the final one is selling. We're also going to see manual repair as well. We do have automatic repairing at the moment. Manual repair will give the ability for players to travel to the exterior of a large ship and perform repairs on damaged parts of the hull. The next mechanic we're going to be seeing in 3.2 is buying and selling of fuel, and this is mobile selling. This will give the ability for players to sell and take money for selling fuel in space. I'm sure that that's going to bring some interesting gameplay there. So for all the people out there that have a staff error, something to look forward to definitely in 3.2 for yourselves. Fueling transfer as well. And obviously with buying and selling fuel, it also comes with the capability of fuel transfer, transferring that fuel from ship to ship. Now the next feature is wear and tear. Now a long time ago, Star Citizen did say that the ships will deteriorate over the period of time, and we did see that introduced into the game a long time ago, pre 2.6. We're going to be seeing the wear and tear added to the weapons over the period of time. The weapons will show some aging. We'll also see some updates and polish to the economy, and this will basically just make the experience a little bit better for the players, and also I should imagine adjusting some of the prices from lessons learned over the first 3 months of 3.0. Now the next one is FPS Combat Ai. We do have AI flying in ships. That is a character flying in a ship if you look at it that way. Now what we're going to see is FPS AI on the ground, so troops, and we will be able to interact with them, clearly shoot them as well. So this is going to be pretty important for us because we're going to see the first draft of AI and how they will work in the game. Hopefully they achieve something relatively realistic. There will also be some updates to the flight AI as well, and this will improve the behavior and also the way the ships fly slightly as well. So moving on to ships, what sort of ships can we expect to see? The first one is the Origin 600i. I know there's a lot of people out there really looking forward to seeing this one. We'll also see the Anvil Hurricane, the Aegis Eclipse, the Outlander Mustang, and that will be the updated one as well. The Aegis Avenger, this be the revision one as well, so this be the bigger one. Vandal Blade, and I did see some pictures of this around quite a while ago, and I must admit it does look absolutely amazing. On the weapon side, we can expect to see the Gemini F55. This is a light machine gun. And on the core technology side, we can expect to see some performance and optimization improvements throughout the development as well. So 3.2 is looking pretty exciting, I must admit. I mean, 3.1, there are some ships in there. 3.2 pretty much brings in quite a lot of the features for us to try out. And it also creates some additional gameplay there because now there's more player-on-player interaction. So definitely looking forward to 3.2. That's not to say that some of the things there might get passed over into another patch, so keep that in mind. This is a base guidance of what they're aiming to achieve in that time. 3.2 is due in Q2 of 2018. Keep in mind it will be the tail end of that. So what do we expect to see in 3.3? On the character side, we will see some new armor come into play. We'll see an array of base clothing come in. The armor and clothing is quite important for the very reason it gives you the ability to identify who other players are. If everyone's running around with the same armor, okay, yeah, definitely breaks immersion. One of the key things here, you need the ability to better identify people by what they're wearing like you would normally. I welcome the changes and these updates. It might seem like small things adding this sort of stuff in, but it makes it a lot easier when you're playing with sort of larger groups of people as well. So on location side, we will see the introduction of Hurston planet. This will also cover points of interest as well around the planet, so there'll be other landing locations. We'll also see the Louisville landing zone. Now this is a primary landing zone in Hurston. Being a main station, you will be able to buy most things, but this location is where you would buy your ship weapons. The introduction of the Hurston moons as well. There's 4 of them to be introduced. This will also include outposts and planet surface areas for players to explore as well. Now all of these locations will have different terrain, so it should add a little bit of variety, so we're not always landing on the same sort of type of planet. Moving on, the comm arrays will have a revision. These will have a design overhaul. There also will be some additions for future gameplay mechanics as well. Now next up is the rest stop small, so imagine that there's going to be a medium and large. Now this is a rest stop that you would stop off at if you were doing a long flight and you might want to pop into the shops and pick something up before you get to your location. This is a new design as well. Moving on to gameplay, we're going to see the first introduction of the repair bots. Ship repairs as well. The mechanics necessary for players to use specialized repair ships to perform ship-to-ship repairs on other players and NPCs. And finally, we see fuel collection. This will give the ability for players to collect and store fuel elements from the environment. Moving on to AI, we're clearly going to be seeing some updates to the FPS from the previous patch 3.2 and also defensive combat as well. This is a different style of combat for the AI rather than attack, a more of a defensive combat. So that could be escort this ship and defend this ship, and then it takes a more defensive approach. On the ships and vehicle side, we are going to be seeing the Constellation Phoenix, the Hammerhead, and the Tumbril Cyclone variants as well. Some updates to some of the ship weapons. On the core technology side, we're going to see the first draft of the object container streaming. This will give the ability for RSI to create the wider universe. Next, we will see the first introduction of the FO IP integration. This is the face over IP and voice over IP in the game. Next up is cloud tech. Now what this will do, quite simple, it will create a cloud, let's say for instance in space, that a fuel harvesting ship would harvest that cloud. This would be the way that the Starfarer and the refueling ships can refuel fuel by harvesting and processing fuel in space. And finally, performance and optimization, we can expect that. So once again, Q3 2018, that's going to be nearing the end. I would say that this year so far, we've got one more to go in a minute, which is the 3.4. I mean, this year it is looking pretty impressive with what they're going to achieve. I agree that some of them might pass over, but if you look at the objectives of, last year and the objectives of this year, we're really starting to see core mechanics come into play now, which is promising. So in 3.4, which is Q4, keep in mind once again, Q4 being the end of Q4. On the character side, we will see the playable female characters. We'll also see the skipjack armor. Next up is ArcCorp planets, and this is more like a urban planet with big offices, flats, shops, something you would expect to see in the future. Area 18 landing zone will be integrated fully. This was originally the social module. It will now be merged into the persistent universe. ArcCorp moons. There are 2 moons that will be introduced. This will also have outposts and some populations on small pockets on the planets as well. Gameplay wise, the introduction of land claims. Purchasing a land claim, that consists of you going buying a license, registering your land claim, i.e. laying on a planet and then going and registering it. And this will also include the ability to place things on the land claim and perform tasks like security and mining and so on. On the AI side, once again, I have no doubt we're going to see updates across the board to the AI because we're seeing introductions in 3.2 and 3.3. So this will just be updates and cleaning up. On ships and vehicles, the first ship we're going to be seeing is the Origin 300i, and this is going to be the reworked one that will now fit in with the mechanics that have been created so far. The Anvil Hawk, MISC Reliant variants, the MISC Freelancer variants, and also the Constellation Taurus as well. Some core technology and optimization improvements as well as along the way. So this year is looking quite an exciting year. Lots to look forward to. It's not just all about the ships. I think it's quite an important year for Star Citizen this year because this really starts to introduce some of the mechanics that you're actually going to be doing with your ships, right? And I think that's really, really important, particularly for the people. I mean, there's 2 million people now that are back in Star Citizen, so we definitely need to start to see the mechanics, and that will also help people understand or buy in if they understand what the actual mechanic is. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's a few there I'm looking forward to, I suppose. Probably looking forward to the refueling, definitely, because I've got Starfarer, and also the mining, because that does look pretty cool as well. So out of everything that is going to be delivered this year, what are you most looking forward to? The final thing on the agenda today, if you're looking to join a Star Citizen organization, check out the link in the description below. That's it from me. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.